Thomas, it's been awesome 2 days with this camp, and it was a pleasure seeing you again after some years, being able to be part of the national training camp and being there as a staff coach. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, thank you for organizing and setting this up. Can you tell the folks here in Wilmington who you are, what your role is with United Futsal?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Thomas Goines. I'm the Director of Player Development for United Futsal. So my job essentially within our organization, which is an overarching nationwide collaboration of clubs, my job is the player pathway system. So I work with individuals on a kind of a one-to-one scale with our camps, our clinics, but also how we take our best in our division and take them on to next level competition, next level opportunities here at home, but also abroad as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I had the opportunity to be part of Worlds and national events in Orlando. Mm-hmm. It was a phenomenal experience. My son came back really excited. Yep. We came back a few days and then jumped right into this awesome camp series, mm-hmm. where you guys organized for a high-level player like Paula to come here, mm-hmm. and give the information to the kids. Can you talk a little bit about that player pathway? So what happens in it? Maybe the national training camp, what happens in a camp series like this, and what are some of the goals that United Futsal has put in place to help players continue to develop in this country?
Yeah, so our player pathway stems from the CCS, or the Championship Cup Series. We have members within that closed circuit competitive series. We have basically a league structure. We'll take the top players from the CCS, which is a 32 club setup nationwide. So we'll take those top players from that setup, and they'll go into what's called the NTC, or National Training Camp. We'll take about the top 400 to 500 athletes of a pool of around 3,000, and they get selected to go and compete for a 4 or 5 day intensive training session. Your son was a chance to compete in that this year. From that, we select top 25 or top 30% of that event to go into an international experience, which we call Futures. Yeah. We will take those athletes to Goines, Spain, and those athletes will compete against the best from NTC, but also we bring athletes from Brazil, we bring athletes come in and train from Spain, from Australia, from England. We'll bring athletes in that will train, and we bring in the Barcelona Youth Academy, Corinthians Youth Academy, Benfica's Youth Academy. Those athletes train together intensively for about 8 days in the training center, and end with a culminating of what we call the Futures Cup. So a mini friendly tournament where they get to, after training, they get to kick each other's butt in a little tournament action. So it's a penultimate event of what we create in that series, and it's a very narrow doorway to get into that competitive circuit. But that's essentially my focus within the CCS, and that player pathway is one of the most comprehensive and challenging pathways to get through. We've had athletes from the CCS actually get selected and taken on to professional youth academies for futsal programs in Spain as well as Brazil. Nice. And they get opportunities to train in and compete with the highest level on a full-time basis. Wow. So we take the best and we have them play with the best. We don't necessarily form national teams and things like that. That's not our method. We train the best. We want the kids to train for themselves, represent the clubs, represent themselves at a high level, and we provide those opportunities. So that's the player pathway segment built into, and we've also branched out and created a couple new opportunities, like what we presented here with you guys this weekend. So we're happy with this year. We created our Showcase Camp Series, and that's what we're doing here in Wilmington. We created we partner with clubs we know have a solid foundation, good build, and we want to partner with who are doing things the right way, and you guys are no different. I know that from my time back in Wilson. So we partner with you and we host these events, 2-day events. We bring in professional futsal players from around the world. They come in and they get to interact with these athletes and teach them a little bit from perspective. But the kind of carrot on the end of the stick is that is where you have a world tour that goes on this. So players are selected from these events and invited to come and compete with us in England this year. So we're taking them, giving them the golden ticket, as it was, to come and compete with us internationally and get an experience for how we do things.
Very
Ultimately, with United Futsal, we like to make sure it's a big program. It's an experience when you show up, and you've seen that in a couple different ways now. And one of the challenges with our player pathway, it's a closed system. You have to be CCS. You have to be inside the circuit to be able to get these things. So the goal of the Showcase Camp Series was to broaden that and introduce more people to how we operate and how we do things.
Awesome. So from this particular camp series here in Wilmington, it's a part of other camps, and there'll be a selection of how many players that will be.
No more than 50.
No more
so
than
we capped it at 50. So I'm going to guess the first year will be between 30 and 50 athletes. We'll form, I'll loosely say teams. We're going to go, we'll have a training experience. They'll hang out at St. George's where the English national team trains. They're going to tour around Manchester, maybe catch a Wrexham game or two, play against major English like soccer clubs, but they're futsal branches. And we'll have exhibition matches against them as well. So there's a lot of, it's going to be a fun 7-8 day tour. But it's an experience. So players from California, we've already had some camps there who've already accepted opportunities. Players from the East Coast, they'll go and they'll represent each other, and they'll form teams for a week and have a chance to compete and train and get to experience what futsal is like abroad.
Absolutely awesome. So just to kind of maybe close out here, so you were here visiting Wilmington. I know you're close to home, and so we were really excited to have you. We thank you so much for bringing this opportunity here to Wilmington. One of the things that we want to see at the Superb Futbol Club is to continue to grow and develop the game of futsal, and to continue to push the kids in our area to develop and see this as an opportunity. You know, what would, in your being here, seeing this, what would you kind of say about for next year? If we were to have a camp like this next year, what would you like to see from your side? And especially bringing in players like Popola from Spain, what would be something?
I think it was a great first event. I think whenever you come into a place and people aren't aware of your brand or what is United Futsal, what are we bringing? To my knowledge, two of your athletes have experienced the full deep end of what we do. When you have that ability to show it and kind of who we are, and hopefully you guys have a chance to compete in some of our events, so you can get a bigger picture as a club. But I think it's just that continued excitement and growth. There are a handful of futsal organizations that present things in a different way. We're very proud of how we do this, and we're very big on making sure the experience you have with us is one that you want to continue to grow. So we're looking to continue to grow the partnership with you guys. We're looking for more athletes in Wilmington to see that the world of futsal is not just something you do in the winter. It is a great development tool for the outdoor game, but it's so much bigger than that worldwide. It has such a bigger experience that you can have. And we really want to give as many athletes as possible that open experience, and bringing coaches in like Bola, and we have Sergio Gonzalez on the West Coast. We bring these coaches in to make sure that they can see that this game does have a moment. This has a goal, an end goal. And it's something you can be excited about training towards. Certainly the game of futsal has a lot of growth to go until it's a standalone. But we want to make sure Wilmington sees this game as something that isn't just the thing you do for those 4 weeks in the winter when your club's not scheduled. We want it to be something that they can see as a growth and a development tool.
Awesome. Well, I know on behalf of the Superb Futbol Club, on behalf of Superb Soccer, all the athletes that train with us, and a lot of the families and players that came out from Wilmington, we want to thank United Futsal for being here and for providing this opportunity for us. Thomas, again, man, appreciate everything. Thank you.
Appreciate it.